All right, we are live Zoom call here due to COVID-19 2020. Um, we are trying to bring you relevant information for everything that's going on in our world today so you can use it and hopefully benefit from it. Today we're going over focus on the plan, not the problem. Reframe or rewire your way of thinking. And this is episode 28. We're trying to be really consistent
All
here
right.
and bring you a lot of good information that you or somebody you know could use.
I'm very excited about this podcast. I know a few people who may benefit from this, so I'm excited for the release.
Awesome. When you face problems or struggles, what's the first thoughts that pop into your head? All too often, when facing a problem or a difficult situation, we tend to focus on the negative portion of that.
Yeah, I absolutely agree. It's weird, isn't that crazy how our minds work when there is a problem? We automatically target what the negativity of that problem is going to be. We need to rewire our brains. When faced with adversity, we must be resilient. Many people let their minds wander towards the negative, which then prompts them to focus on more problems instead of searching for ways to resolve the situation and even grow from it.
Yeah, I know. I completely agree. And we just did a show on this essentially where we talked about our 1,000-year-old brain and how it's wired that way. But we
Yeah.
can catch ourselves in that moment, right? And reframe or rewire it, right? So, I mean, have you ever had something bad happen to you and things just started spiraling out of control?
Yep.
Maybe one thing after another happens that's bad.
Yep.
Um, so that's because you're thinking about it, right? We have to remember that what we focus on actually expands, right? We focus on the problems, we get more problems.
Hmm.
And if we focus on the solutions, we will get more solutions.
Yep. I couldn't agree more with that. Do not just react. Take the time to fully analyze the problem, then make list of possible solutions. Okay. Start focusing on ways to resolve the problem. Focus on the solutions. Create an actionable plan.
Yeah, I mean, I completely agree. Instead of saying why me, say try me.
Yeah.
Instead of saying why does this have to happen to me, say, all right, great, that's an obstacle. What do I do now? So
Hmm.
if the problem or obstacle warrants some reflection time, perhaps that's just exactly what you should give it, some reflection time. We, meaning Jeff and I, we actually practice what we call a 5 second or a 5 minute funeral. We did a video and I believe a podcast on it. I know you can find it on YouTube for sure. It's called 5 Second Funeral. Take as much time as you want, but that means you can give that thought some time. Yell out loud, scream, swear if that's what you want to do, cry if that's what you need to do. But once that time's up, however, you need to actually let it go and change your way of thinking.
Yeah, this is something that I even struggled with when not just business. I mean, it could be personal. When I had a problem, I mean, sometimes that could really affect my entire day. Joe is the one who taught me the 5 second or 5 minute funeral. Get it all out, get it on the table. Once it's done, start coming up with the solutions. I mean, it's a problem that has a solution, and that's what you really gotta understand,
Yeah,
right?
I know when Jeff, he'll like slam his headset down. He'll be like, all right, I'm taking a walk. And he'll just take a walk, lap around the office or something. He'll come back and he's like, all right, I'm ready to rock and roll. It's just real
Yep.
quick. Take a walk. Those are proven to help. And he gets another cup of coffee, stops at the water cooler for a minute, whatever, and then you're back. And it's
Yep.
like you're a whole new person because you reframed or rewired your mind. And it's amazing how that works.
Absolutely. Taking the step back.
Hmm.
Yeah. Identify the problems at hand. Try to isolate the origin of where that obstacle started.
Hmm.
Once you could find this, you could then start to formulate an action plan. If you jump in too soon, though, you could be doing something that may even make things work. I mean, that's like Joe said, taking a walk for me is what I do, right? And that's not jumping into it, making the problem worse. Take a step back, look at the big picture, and then that's where it's going to be easier to formulate those solutions to take care of that issue or that problem.
Yeah, I mean, you can make assumptions very quickly if you're angry.
Yeah.
You may be placing blame on someone or something that may not need to be blamed. It could be an action that happened to that person or something that happened prior to what you're thinking is the problem. And giving it time and isolating that where that actual obstacle started is
Hmm.
beneficial, because then you can actually fix it instead of just blow off some steam and to make it worse, right?
Right.
So once you find those solutions that you were talking about, make sure you can brainstorm those and find out different ways, right? Make a list of possible solutions and what their outcomes would be, so you can look at them and actually articulate which one would be better, right? Ensure that the people are involved, if there are people involved, that you include them if possible. Meaning if you're in charge of or managing or working with people in a group and you may think they're the problem, or we may need to adjust the what they're doing, you make them part of that. Remember that failure is the stepping stone to success, and that without it we wouldn't be able to grow. So they should be able to be a part of that, to figure out what the problem was and then use that as a stepping stone to move forward and learn and grow from it.
Exactly. And now it's time to implement that new habit, maybe, or idea, or even the plan. What does this look like? Who's going to hold you accountable? Uh, what will this help you achieve? And what does this mean to you? This can be very liberating and exciting experience, especially when you do come up with that plan of action and something that could have made you feel negative, or had negative thoughts about it, and then actually figuring out a way to overcome that problem. It's a great feeling.
Yeah, do the thing, have the power, right?
Absolutely,
I
couldn't
mean,
have said it better myself.
these are where processes and things are implemented in businesses to overcome or preempt or be proactive with
Yeah,
it, right?
and that way that problem will never happen again.
Right.
So regardless of how bad your problem may be, the solution is there if you think long and hard enough. We live in a world where instant is normal. We don't need to react that way. However, give your thoughts some time to develop. And when you do come up with that solution to your problem, it could be a long road to it. Just like I said, instant is normal. Not everything is going to be instant to solve that issue. It might take some steps each day to get to that solution. Just know that you're working towards that solution.
Hmm.
So if it's a longer time, don't feel don't feel like you're not making any movement towards it.
Yeah, overwhelmed, right?
As long as you put that plan of action in place.
Yeah, and even before that, make sure you think long and hard to make sure you're making the correct move, right?
Yeah.
But then again, like Jeff just said, once you actually implement it, it's awesome, but you got to stick with it, right?
Yep.
um, Turn the failure into a gift and grow because of it, right? Having persistence when faced with a setback is imperative. um, Failure is never the end, it's just a
Hmm.
new beginning.
Yep.
um, so if you do what's easy, your life will be hard, so don't take shortcuts.
Mm.
If you do what's hard, meaning putting the work in, grinding it out, learning from your mistakes, your life will be easy, right?
Right.
Make sure you guys, if you like what we're putting out here, that you follow us on all of our social media platforms, because we do post daily a lot of information multiple times throughout the day. Subscribe so you can receive new alerts when new content is released, whether it's on YouTube or your podcast player of choice, or our Facebook page, or our Instagram, or our LinkedIn, or our Twitter account. We might be on a few more. Those are just the main ones. Share our content if you found some awesomeness in it, right? With someone that you think could use it, like Jeff was saying in the beginning. And we hope, Jeff and I hope, as always, that we've impacted your day in a very positive way and that you found value in everything that we bring to you. Until
Yep.
next time.
Adios, amigos.